I can't hear anybody.
You're good, Sean. Hey, Sean, you're live, brother. Go ahead. I don't think Triple is. Go ahead, brother.
You gotta put me out, brother. You gotta get going. Can you guys hear me?
You're in. Yeah, go, Sean. We're live. You're live for a minute. New technology, Sean. You're good. You're on StreamYard now, baby. I got you. Sean Salisbury, everybody.
And nobody gave me the countdown. I got nothing coming out. Nothing. I'm still there.
Hey, by the way, Sean, you're a pretty bitch. You're a pretty motherfucker.
This?
Hey, you're like this.
You guys mute the fucking host. That's a bad thing to start.
For a minute, Sean, like this. I'm just like this. I'm in the back like this, Sean.
I thought you were doing this because you're saying, yeah, man, there's something going with the sound. You can't hear either. I'm like, okay.
No, my bad.
All right.
We're getting used to it.
It was just a pose off so you guys could check me out. Simply, you know I'm here, but where in the world is Waldo, meaning Aaron Rodgers, aside from Cozy on a Beach, man? You know, Cozy on a Beach. Sounds like a fucking country song, but let's get started right here. JB, Sean, Unpaved. You can catch us all over the place. We're great. And starting Monday, tomorrow, one more day at 2 o'clock Central, 3 Eastern. Monday, we'll be at 1 Eastern daily, every day. 1 Eastern, sharp, ready to go. Great graphics. We're building a new studio brought to you by Premier Gold Co. And it's going to be rustic and throwback and vintage, and it's going to be off the hook. But this is our Premier Gold Studios now, and they look pretty damn good. You see that behind JB and Sean? Yeah, there you go. So we're here to go. But, JB, let me start here. Yeah, yesterday was fire, but there's stuff to pick up on from yesterday as well. Free agency, obviously, in day 3 now. The NBA rolling. That goes together. College basketball hoops, which to me is my time. I friggin' love what we're about to get into because I like this. I like betting on college hoops, and I just love the atmosphere of college hoops. And hell, I'd follow it around like somebody chasing around a concert tour that you're going to 250 concerts a year. I'd go to every region if I could. So when we get the G800 at one point, JB, when we could just buy the G800 for $75 million right outright, we'll just follow people around and go do that. So it is Coach JB. I'm Sean Salisbury. Triple E's with us. As always, the best producer on the planet. And great to have you. That's not Shadur Sanders. That would be Triple E. Okay. We don't race bait on this show, unlike other shows across the country. You get it a little bit raw. You get it obviously unfiltered, and you're sure as hell going to get it transparent and authentic. You ain't getting that a lot of other places because nobody's telling our ass what to say, and we're also not scripting it, so we disagree. But we are coming at you. We'll start with Aaron Rodgers. I guess is he still are we at the point now where he's the prize of what's left on the free agent market? Because it's not hell. Kenny Two Gloves has already got a place to go. What's that? He's headed to Cleveland, right? Kenny Two Gloves, former first-round pick. He's been to Philly, been to Pittsburgh, headed to Cleveland. If I'm a quarterback, play at 20 of them if you have to get an opportunity to play. But Rodgers is a prize. Depending on what kind of prize, is it a big prize for you or a smaller prize? One thing is, I know that people get, well, why is he on the beach? Well, why do we care if he's on the beach? And does he have to make a decision? Is he holding a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers hostage? I've heard that phrase before as well over these last few days. Does he know where he's going, and is he just toying with us, and he's good at it? I've been a fan of Aaron Rodgers as a player, and I don't mind him as a dude. He beats to a different drum, but so do you, and so do I. Our drum may be maybe he's a hi-hat cymbal, and you and I are a bass and a snare drum, but we all beat to something different. His just a lot more public than I am, and he knows how to bait us, and he also knows how to toy with people. He's a scorekeeper, and that's not a bad thing. 4-time MVP. The guy's been a hell of a player. Obviously, the injury. Obviously, last year he was okay. He was a guy last year, and now the Jets have moved on to I'm not sure you're going to get much more accurate with the new guy, with Justin Fields, but Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh. We're going to get to Minnesota, JB. You keep teasing this shit, and you keep asking me about the 49ers and the Vikings and Aaron Rodgers, and I keep saying Vikings, I believe a little bit more because you're really starting a rookie in J.J. McCarthy as we speak. Daniel Jones is in Indy, and we know that Sam Darnold's in Seattle. We'll get to the 49ers in a second. You ain't letting that go. It's kind of like the Tom Brady thing. Remember before he went to Tampa, everybody thought he was headed to Frisco, right? And you
it's like doing my fucking taxes, Sean. Eventually, you start stacking all this shit up. You get to the fucking finally the results starting to show, right?
Yeah, and with the 49ers clearing house. I saw a great photo, whether it's a meme, I guess it was. It's got a dude standing in the middle of his crib in the front room. Like every single box had been, they'd emptied out all the furniture. Like somebody just stole it from his ass. Standing there, and they said, "This is 49er fans." They're not real sure, and I'm not sure if it was meaning that Brock Purdy's the guy standing in the middle of the room, or it's just the fact that we got no players left other than, the obvious stars in McCaffrey and Kittle and right. We say don't have any players left, and George Kittle's still there. They got Trent Williams still there. They got Fred Warner still there. Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy's about to be there. To my belief, you still think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I just got to, before you keep going, they just signed Mac Jones.
I know, for what, 3 years?
And you got two no-namers.
Yeah.
You got two no-name kids. I don't know who, Allen and somebody. Last name Allen and another kid. I have no idea.
It's about Purdy. Yeah. Mac Jones is there to be a veteran backup. He's got some experience. He's been in some games. Obviously started a bunch as a rookie in New England and Jacksonville a little bit. Was it Jacksonville last year back? Okay, it's hard to even follow these guys. They move around like checkers and checkers just popping over and getting kinged at the end of the checkerboard. But to me, Aaron Rodgers is maybe the prize. But how big a prize is he? Let's start in Pittsburgh first. No, Aaron. I mean, they're going to move on from Russell Wilson, and you and I both know that. They don't have a quarterback. Justin Fields is gone. Is he holding the hostage? And why the rush? Does he have to do this? There you go. See him? Hello, Aaron. What's wrong with me? Everybody's mad. He's on the beach. Shit, I want to be on the beach. Well, why don't you?
What's going on with this, man?
Well, okay. You tell me right now why you don't like. Because if he signed and went to the beach, would you be okay? It's like I always get this, JB. When Tony Romo, I got when I was in Dallas, I heard this nationally and locally when I lived there. He'd go play golf in March. Good golfer, Tony. And play well, or he'd try to qualify for like the U.S. Open, right? He'd throw an interception in October, and I'll be damned if fans weren't. Yeah, if he wouldn't have golfed in March, he wouldn't have thrown an interception, which is what, take 2 weeks off and stay out of this one. This conversation isn't for you. But in the Aaron Rodgers case, does he absolutely know what he's doing, the agenda and the plan? Does he, or does he still got to be convinced it's Pittsburgh, it's Minnesota, it's San Francisco? Here's what I think. I think he has a pretty good idea because the guy's dumb like a fox, okay? He knows what's happening. And I said he's a scorekeeper. He loves the fact that we're guessing, and I'm sure maybe on Pat's show, McAfee, that's probably where we'll hear the announcement if he waits till what? Next Tuesday? Is it still a Tuesday in the offseason? Till next Tuesday. So Pittsburgh, Minnesota, San Francisco. If you would have asked me the question last year, I would have had, going into the season, I would have said San Francisco, who's the best team? Pittsburgh and Minnesota, because we didn't know about Sam. And they had a rookie quarterback who was injured in J.J. McCarthy. Then now as we shuffle it, and it wouldn't have been the Jets, and the Jets' talent was pretty good, so you might have put them in those four. So now Pittsburgh, who's always in the playoffs with Tomlin, they don't have a quarterback, so that looks good. They got a really good defense. San Francisco's traded, cut, or got rid of everybody, and they're sitting there waiting to figure out what they're going to do with all that money, $80 million or whatever roster, to load it up for a $55 million. We talked about this yesterday, whether you like him or not. If you pay Tua $53 million, your ass has got to pay Brock Purdy more. He's been to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game. And I like Tua and I like Brock. I know you can't believe he's getting $45 million. He's going to get 50. And if I was him, I'd hold my ass out until they got to it, whether we think he's worth it or not, because of his production, not potential, production. Hell, he may have had his best season ever already, but it's going to warrant getting paid. So if they're doing that, and I still don't think Aaron Rodgers has any shot in hell to be in San Francisco. So I'm going to rule them out now. Let me get to Pittsburgh. So when we said how the rosters have shuffled, who's the best team of those three now? Minnesota first, because their offense and defense, and they've had a hell of an offseason so far and a hell of free agency. And then you go to Pittsburgh, and then you go to San Francisco. Pittsburgh doesn't have the quarterback. San Francisco's got a $50 million guy, and Minnesota thinks they got the guy in J.J. McCarthy, who was a great college player. Now shuffle it. So the obvious one is Aaron Rodgers holding them hostage, should be in Pittsburgh, right? But is it? Does he want to go there? Is he going to retire? Is that still an option that he's making people hold out for? Does he already have the team in mind and he's making us sweat and wait if you are one that's sweating? What is the deal with Aaron Rodgers? And where would you go if all the money was equal?
Sean, I'm Minnesota right now with the weapons, but
They're
the legacy.
They're loaded.
Like, to me, does the legacy get affected by following Favre's footsteps? We talked about it. I guess weapon-wise, Minnesota's best. But Pittsburgh, to me, Tomlin always getting to the playoffs makes the sense. Defense, run game, right? That, to me, makes the best sense. I don't know, Sean, about where you are, but I think that Pittsburgh fits him. I don't know, Sean. I think that's where he needs to go, in my personal opinion. But I got to ask you, what music you think is in his earphones while he's on that beach right there? Because I did a whole rendition this morning on my show.
9 Inch Nails.
I think it's the beach music.
Symphony.
You know the beach music, Sean. You know the nice fucking.
I call it the Calm app. Okay.
Sea clams and fucking.
When the waves are hitting and the birds and the seagulls are flying by, you just don't want one to shit on your head. Okay. It might be 9 Inch Nails. It might be Shabuzi. It could be. It could be. Let's see. 9 Inch Nails, Shabuzi.
Who's Shabuzi?
You don't know Shabuzi?
No.
The bar song, Tipsy, or yeah, get a little tipsy. Oh, you know who Shabuzi is. Yeah.
No.
You know Shabuzi. There's Shabuzi. It could be Hosier. Hosier sounds like one for him. Hosier. Yeah. You don't know who Hosier is either. Bitch, you
do you think it's the guy? Do you think it's the guy talking to you?
It might.
Sean, walk down the beach.
Yeah.
And
it could be a motivational speech. It really could. It could be one of those. No, it could be one of those. You know the voices you get in the dark room when you're sitting there, you got on the headset and you're trying to calm yourself into a Zen moment. He might be just here and listening to Phil Jackson from when Phil Jackson used to go Zen. I don't know. I know this. I do believe in my mind that Aaron Rodgers plays and he knows where he's going. Of those three teams, Minnesota's the best team. I'm just telling you. The 49ers seems like the biggest reach. They've lost all these players. They don't have a ton of weapons. CMC, obviously, still a great player. And they're about to pay a guy $50+ million. I don't think he's going there, even though he grew up in that area, played at Cal. Pittsburgh seems logical because that quarterback room's the empty. That's an empty quarterback room. Minnesota doesn't seem like it does because O'Connell and Aaron can run that offense. They've got a Super Bowl caliber team. They've gotten better this offseason at a lot of positions, just not quarterback yet. They may be great at quarterback because they love McCarthy, but he hadn't played. So is Minnesota willing to bring Rodgers in, pay him, whatever it is they're going to negotiate, and risk, and I'll get to your legacy question in a second, risk slowing down the process for McCarthy. See, I'm a guy that if you think he's ready, you put his ass in and play him. I have no problem worrying about a fucking guy's feelings getting hurt if he plays bad. If you're worried about the fragility of a quarterback in this league, you shouldn't have drafted his ass. That's the way I feel. And I don't think McCarthy's a fragile personality. If he struggles, oh well, let him play through it. Are they willing to do that now? Now you got a taste of a bunch of wins last year, and Sam didn't play well the last two games in Darnold. Now there's Rodgers, the veteran who kind of lets things roll off his shoulders, been to big games. Are you willing to let Rodgers do this again for a year and let McCarthy be the backup? Because if they go there, he ain't going there to compete, Rodgers, and he's going to be the starter. Well, he'd retire before he'd be a backup in my mind. Pittsburgh, empty quarterback room, really good defense, and they got some pretty good perimeter people, even though Najee Harris isn't there. So that seems like one. Minnesota indoors, he knows the division. As far as legacy goes, I don't think for 1 minute that he cared. I mean, I think if he did go there and you're worried about legacy, I think in his mind he'd go there and say, I'm going to do what Brett didn't in Minnesota. I'm going to actually get through that New Orleans game, and I'm going to go win if that's how he feels. So I don't think that's part of it. I think it's intriguing. At this stage of the game, I don't think he's going for money. I think if he goes somewhere, it's to win. Of the three teams, right now, the 49ers are the least. They got the least opportunity. Are the worst of the three when it comes to chance to win. The Rams have gotten better. I don't think the 49ers have. So Pittsburgh or Minnesota, yet I still don't know if they have the guts to bring in Rodgers, deal with the sideshow after what they did last year, and slow the process down of McCarthy. I think the Vikings want to commit to McCarthy unless they've had a long talk with Aaron and say, here's the role. Right now, Aaron's a better quarterback than McCarthy because he's played and his career. But at 41 years old, how is he? And are they willing to slow it down, or is it McCarthy time already? He didn't get a snap last year. Are we there with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, where would you go? Put yourself in his shoes. Negotiate it for me.
Yeah. Sean, here's the deal. Can I be honest, though?
No, I want you to lie to me right now.
When's the fucking enough for this guy? Like, let's be honest. You're 40 years old, 41. How long are you going to string a team out? To me, it's a smack in the face of the game, the sport, that you and so many greats played at that level. I was a practice squad guy. I didn't get to play in a real game. This guy has been he's held teams at bay long enough. You're 41. You're not like you're 20 where 32 teams want you. You possibly have 2 or 3 teams that want you, Sean. When is enough, and at least have the balls to say, you know what, I'm not going to play no more. Good luck with Russell Wilson. Good luck with Jameis Winston. Good luck with whoever's out there. Because right now, there's nobody out there. Russell's flying to Cleveland. You got Jameis Winston.
There's nobody waiting in line for Russell Wilson. So he'll sign somewhere, but I ain't standing in line for Russell Wilson. He's waiting on Aaron. Super Bowl again, and he's not the same guy, period.
He's waiting on Aaron, right?
Right.
So
or he's going to try to beat him to the punch, right? Going to try to beat him to the punch. JB, I think
Aaron, make a decision. Right? Make a decision.
I posed the questions to you because that's one half, and we're only going to be honest on this. I'm going to transparent as we can be. Now, my thought on this, being totally honest, is I've loved Rodgers' career. It's had its ups and downs. He's been a great player. When I was asked, is he a top 5 quarterback of all time? That answer is no. Top 5 ball spinner, yes. Big difference. Top 5 quarterback, 4 MVPs. Hell yeah, he belongs in the conversation. But I can't put. He's not a Mount Rushmore. He doesn't break into my top 4 yet. If you're talking about a guy with accurate and off schedule and timing and all that when he's at his best, absolutely. And what he did the Super Bowl year and a wild card year, I hold him in a high regard, and I don't have a problem with him as a guy. I don't care that he didn't take a shot. I don't give a shit about that because I didn't either. I don't give a shit. And he beats to a different drum. A lot of cats do. Great player. He's not a great player anymore. He's put it this way, at 41, Brady's a far better player than Rodgers is at 41, and you and I both know it. That's no disrespect to Rodgers, just a fact. Anybody that's afraid to admit it's just kissing his ass. I'm a big fan. But I know this. I don't believe you're winning a Super Bowl right now with him. I just don't. Unless he stays healthy, you'll make the playoffs. But is he a February? Hell, it was tough enough to get there when he was Aaron Rodgers, that guy. He's not just a guy, but he's not right now. I can name 10 that you'd take before him, JB, right now as quarterback. But
yeah, I agree, Sean. And here's an issue, too. I do believe he can win a Super Bowl in the right place if his mental is saying, all right, I got to give everybody a shit sandwich. Or you retire. It's either you retire or I got to prove the world wrong. He can still prove the world wrong, in my opinion. The way he played last year in New York at the end of the year, he was playing top 10 football at 40. I think he can do it with the right team. But does he have the nuts and guts to say, all right, fuck all the noise?
That's part of the if, though, JB, is where is he mentally? Do I think he can still throw it when his Achilles isn't bothering him? Yeah. He's got another year out. Of course I do. I know he can still throw it. But is it the same timing? Is it all that? Yes, if he goes to Minnesota and they stay completely healthy and they're in it, can they get to a Super Bowl? But the if part, how invested is he? Where is his mental? Is it, hey, I'm along for the ride, or is it I'm competitor, I'm about to go wear your ass out and score, keep, and prove to you at 41 my ass can get back and win one. That's that part. But the ifs that surround it are, and you're right about the hot. Listen, they're at one point it's easy because you like to keep people guessing. Then it gets to a point like, dude, listen, the game's getting tired and it's exhausting and it's maddening about where I'm going to go. Keeping the secret. Fuck the secret. It's time to, read that in that book, The Secret, or listen to that. Maybe that's what he's listening to on tape, which is a great book, motivational. But there comes a point in time, see, if I'm one of these teams, I'm not in line to say I'm going to wait on you until you hold us hostage. Screw that. I'm either going forward. You can either shit or get off, man. Let's go. And does he make – I can tell you this. If you ask me if he's going to have a better season than Sam Darnold did in Minnesota last year, I'm not sure I can give you that. And I'm just not sure I can give you that right now. Now, the last 2 games weren't good for Sam. In Pittsburgh, they like to run it. Mike Tomlin play defense. Aaron would be great there. I think he can get you to the playoffs. The question is, how invested is he? How committed is he? And is he going for the right reasons? And the right reasons are the passion to shove it up everybody's rear end to say, I still got it. But you are exactly right. At some point in time, you have got to, if you're a team or Aaron Rodgers, I would think you'd want to commit to it and be prepared to get involved in an off-season program, play a little golf, and then go be with your teammates and go. Unfortunately, he's no longer the guy who can turn it on and off like a light switch and just be great because he's Aaron Rodgers. He's got to invest some time, and a lot of it will depend on his mental and emotional wherewithal, where he is, where his head is, and quite frankly, how is he feeling about, is he carrying the baggage from New York? Is he going to cut it loose and go on? And is he going to continue? Is it I'm going to just make sure they guess. If I'm a team, I'm not waiting. And he's not, I don't believe he's going to be in San Francisco. If I do, that'd be the shock unless they say you can only be a backup and here's it. But they already got their guy, right? They already got their backup, Mac Jones. He ain't going there with a third. The emptiest room is Pittsburgh. The next emptiest is Minnesota. And Minnesota of the 3 is the best team right now. All right. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it. JB, you ain't waking up tomorrow with an answer from Aaron Rodgers, right? You don't believe that, do you? You don't believe
no.
it, right? Okay.
If he does it, though, I would start to I would start to say, you know what, enough's enough, man.
Maybe he'll retire, and he might. He might very well. Right now, I don't know, and neither do you. If he's laying on somebody's couch getting psychologized, saying, going through the psych route, like, what am I going to do? And he's getting in his zen. I don't know. So, and I do want to know what's in that headset, too. I want to know it could be Led Zeppelin. Could be. It could be Dolly Parton. Hell, it might be Boy George. I don't fucking know. Okay. Right. I mean, you gotta, let me see. Let me pull your hand away from you. Let me check you out for a second. Let me
Rock Hudson.
You're at. Yeah. Rock Hudson's off the outside the studios too. That's you. No problem though. Nobody has a problem with that. He and Jim Neighbors, they loved each other. That's okay. As long as you love somebody, JB, I'm here for you. Okay. You know how we do, right? Go ahead. I know you want to say something so bad.
I'm just saying, man, enough is enough. Like I got fucking what do you call that? That fucking
it's called you're not deranged. You're deranged Aaron Rodgers syndrome right now, right? You just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, it's over. Like get on, move on with it. Like it just again proving my point though. The quarterback position in the NFL is bad off.
Well, do you think we mentioned it yesterday? I'm just going to revisit it today. You heard on a national show that Shedeur Sanders may be plummeting because he's black. Because I'm sure that Cleveland and the Giants and Tennessee are sitting in a room evaluating the position, and Brian Daboll and Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, that they're all sitting in a room saying, gosh, dang, this guy's he's tough. He'll stand in a pocket and deliver it. He's got great swag because his pops, he's confident, which I like the confidence. I don't really care if he talks it. I don't care. My judging of Shedeur Sanders being a step behind Ward is based on film and what I've seen and watched him play. It has nothing to do. But when I hear that, the reason you're trying to smear campaign is because, well, those guys. So can you imagine, we mentioned it yesterday, Bears mentioning again, Stefanski and Andrew Berry are talking, no, man, we can't do that. I know we had Jameis Winston and Deshaun Watson, but no. We can't draft him. He's black. We're still not there, but apparently we still are. Now, while I'm not naive enough to think there's not somebody walking around with those issues in the league, but I can assure you if he doesn't get drafted, it sure as shit is not going to be because the color of his skin. If it is, if somebody can prove that, then get that guy out. I think when you're talking about and baiting people into this, I think there's a pretty good chance this is a narrative because you're not really well versed on the position and whether you like him on tape or not. That's the only evaluation. Leadership, tape, results. Does he get buy-in from his other teammates? Does he make them better? All those things. You can't question his toughness in the pocket. You can't question his swagger. He's got confidence. I don't have any issue with him. I don't think he's the best quarterback on the field in this draft, but I think it's a weak-ass draft class that in a normal year, I wouldn't. There's not one of them I'd touch in the first 10 picks, but I think 2 of them will be taken sooner than later. And Jackson Dart will probably be the third one somewhere in the first round because he's got some upside. And he's a fast riser in shorts and a T-shirt this offseason. But I am just constantly. You talk about beatdown. That we are the race bait that goes on. That yeah. Listen, if a guy throws the ball 15 feet over a guy's head, I'm just talking about. I would imagine the guys that are evaluating him aren't worried about the color of his skin, white, black, or some other color. I don't think they care.
Nah, it's amazing. I started my show off with a rant today, too. Like, Aaron Rodgers, by the way, got cut by a black head coach for a black quarterback. And I haven't heard Ryan Clark mention that for some unknown reason. I don't know why, Sean, that may be, but it's crazy. And then I don't get Kirk Cousins right now, a white dude, should be bitching and moaning then, right? Because he's the backup to what? Oh, Michael Penix. And guess who cut him? A head coach's brother. But guess what? I haven't heard anything about Ryan Clark saying anything about that. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic?
And you know what I know about Atlanta and about who was the other one you mentioned?
Yeah, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Cousins, but who was the other quarterback you mentioned? Oh, Rodgers. I know one thing about those 2 guys you're talking about. They didn't cut those guys because they're white. I mean, you may hate Whitey. I mean, JB, you may be down on Whitey. I don't know. You hate Whitey, but I know this, that Cousins and Aaron Rodgers, because neither one of them performed to the level of expectation, and you probably should move on from both of them. And the irony of it is both went through Achilles injuries, right? And neither one of them were able to have movement or recover properly last year. And if I'm in Atlanta, I'm good with Penix. If I'm in New York, I'm good moving on from Aaron Rodgers and the sideshow that goes with it. I'm not sure you're a better team with Justin Fields. And I'm not even sure Justin Fields could stave off Tyrod Taylor. Correct?
Right. I agree.
Tyrod's still there. Did I miss something? He's still the quarterback there?
Yep.
He doesn't get cut, right?
Nope.
Okay. I'm just making sure I'm not wrong on it. He's with the Jets, not the Giants. He's a Jets guy, correct? Still, am I right about that? Yeah.
Yep.
It's a kind of a rhetorical question. So my point is I'm not sure the Jets upgraded. You get an athletic quarterback who is Zach Wilson, accuracy-wise, with better feet. That's exactly what you're getting. So the racing, I'm just telling you from what you and I discuss, I just am baffled. That's not a tree I want to go, bark up, or a narrative that, to me, bringing it up reeks of nonsense, because I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be a first-round pick, and I hope he's a really good player. I've always loved his dad. His dad is a lightning rod for controversy. His dad's a lightning rod for attention because he's a great player. He's turned around a program, and quite frankly, you either love Deion or you hate him. I love Deion, but when you bring Deion with you, when he's your pops, you're bringing along some stuff that you got to overcome. So it can be a positive for Shedeur. It can be a negative in some eyes for Shedeur because of the swagger. Yet neither one of them, and none of us should be judging the position because of the color of his skin. And I find it blasphemous that anybody suggests that he's being smeared because he's black. I can't say that. I can't even fathom that somebody evaluating the guy has anything. Now, you may smear him. You may put him out there because you want to drop, not on the race bait, but on, like, say, well, he doesn't throw the deep ball well, or he's not accurate. I'm not saying that he isn't, but, start some narrative that may not be true. You start just to get somebody questioning and answering the questions. The bottom line, if you're worth anything as a front office, a general manager, a scout, an evaluator, a head coach, a coordinator, a quarterback coach, and you're allowing the media or me and you, what we say on here, or anything else to do outside your building and the tape you're watching and the guy that you interviewed, meaning that quarterback, if you're evaluating him on any other status than that, from his background, where he grew up. Now, I know character issues, not with him, but in any quarterback, you got to look into the depth. When you're spending that kind of money on your investment, you want the ROI. But the guys who are evaluating him that understand football are not fucking evaluating him because he's black or white. That did exist years ago. We are by it. We got a group of quarterbacks in this league that are off the charts, and they happen to be African-American. I think they like to be referred to as great quarterbacks who happen to be black, not, oh, he's a black quarterback. Yeah, No.
Sean, I think more than 50% of the starting.
Like my buddy Warren Moon, Donovan McNabb and I had this years ago. To the point it gets to, and Warren dealt with it. When Warren came out of the University of Washington, I can tell you this sure as shit as I'm sitting here now. Warren Moon should have been a high draft pick after that Rose Bowl at the University of Washington. He will be a guest on this show, hopefully next week when we move the new time, but whenever it works around Warren's schedule. And Warren won't say this, but I'm saying it for him as a teammate and one of my best friends. When Warren came out of Don James' program at the University of Washington and had to go to the CFL and win Grey Cup after Grey Cup, Warren Moon did not get drafted for one big reason. Ooh, man, great feet. And people that don't know Warren Moon, they knew him as a pocket passer in the NFL. Warren Moon at the University of Washington, he was some of these guys before these guys. He was a big physical guy, not as stout up in his shoulders and stuff as he got going. But when he came in the league, the dude was jacked. Warren Moon had great feet. Warren Moon did not get drafted or did not play in the NFL right away. And I'm going to tell you right now, a big reason why was because of the color of his skin. But that ship sailed. He's a Hall of Famer, and there's some out there, but the true talent evaluators aren't evaluating Shedeur Sanders because, well, aren't the same guys evaluating Cam Ward? So it may be personality. They may not like the Dion flair and that stuff, which is weird to me. I don't know why you wouldn't want somebody with confidence at quarterback. But I assure you, have you heard anybody say they're not drafting Cam Ward because he's black? Has that narrative started? Absolutely not. Why? Because it doesn't fit the narrative of the flair and the rest of it. Shedeur Sanders, if he gets drafted 7th, 8th, 10th, 12th, it's going to be on the merits of his game, not on the color of his skin. And if it's not, or somebody creates that narrative, they're looking for trouble in a race bait, and I'm not biting it. And I am not buying into it. Sorry.
Shout out to Warren, man. JUCO product right here in L.A.
Hamilton High School. Hamilton High School.
Hey, in the hood. Hamilton High School. Shout out to Warren, man. Great ball spinner, too. Yeah, Sean, I agree with you. It's a joke. We got to move on to it. I think half the NFL is black as far as quarterbacks.
Yeah, and good evaluators don't care. We're past it.
And 75% of the NFL is black. So, Come on.
Hey, real quick about Warren. Dude, we were in Minnesota. I don't know if I ever told you the story, JB. We were in Minnesota, and Warren I can do Warren's routine, practice and game day routine better than he can do his own. Now, I couldn't do my own self very good, but I could do Warren. I just couldn't throw it like him. But, yeah, he can still. Warren, at his age now, if you went out and watched him throw now, brother, I'll guarantee he ain't throwing a wobbly pass. This dude is the prettiest ball. I never saw him throw, but one time I saw him throw a wobbly pass. We're on the practice field in Minnesota. And Warren, we had a routine. We had to get, receivers catching for you. And Warren and I warmed up. Dude, I'm telling you, you want to talk about OCD and game preparation and studying film. I mean, I'm talking, it was precise and dynamic. Game day. I would imitate him. He comes to the sidelines. He'd come to me first. We'd talk. He'd go to Brian Billick. And then he'd go sit on the edge of the bench and grab his hat and put it on the same spot all the time. You're not sitting in Warren's spot. So I could imitate him. We'd have laughs. We're on the practice field. I'm in Minnesota right there. And we're playing catch. Warren throws the ball to receiver midway through our warm-up before practice started. The ball wobbled, dude. And it was, I know you think I make this is kind of, that it's like, oh, come on, Sean, that's hyperbolic. I ain't bullshitting you. He stopped. I looked at the receiver catching for me. I said, did that ball wobble? And it was like an issue. Warren looks at me and he goes, Sal, throw that ball back here. Dude, I threw it back. His receiver hands it to him. He goes just like this. Spins it up 3 times, like you know how you spin the ball up in the air to see?
Yeah.
Spins it up 3 times. There was a little side wobble on the ball. He said, get this ball out of this drill and don't ever put it in here again. It's a kicker's ball. Swear to God. Only time I saw him throw a wobbly pass, I never saw him throw a wobbly pass after that. So when we talk about ball spinners in a tight spiral, that guy could throw it through a hurricane and it wouldn't move it, okay? So
he knew.
It was, and I'm telling you, we share it all the time. He still laughs. I said, dude, don't be bullshit. You know exactly. So when I kid him about throwing it, if you didn't hit him, he might be able to throw it better than some of these quarterbacks in the league right now. That's how good that guy could throw it. So,
man, he was unbelievable.
Let's move on to this. Are kids off limits when it comes to criticizing players, like legacy players? And by the way, this story's been talked about, with Stephen A. and who works his ass off, whether you like it or not. Where are you going, man?
Oh, you're good. I got to turn my light on. My light shut off.
And all that stuff. But I'm going to even spin it a different way. when are kids off limits? When are kids off limits when it comes to he's in the NBA, Bronny is. We see a lot of these kids or brothers, family members, in LeBron's case, it's his son. LeBron's son's just a guy. He's a below average NBA player. He wasn't even the best player on the Trojans. Listen, he went through health issues and all that. I'm a father of 3. I know you're a dad. And I think, okay, listen, you always want to protect your kid, JB. I do. I want to protect my kids all the time. But you also got to let them grow up and get kicked in the teeth once in a while. Not literally, but sometimes hell literally, right? And then stop the bully. So I'm not taking sides on this. And when Stephen A. said he thought it was weak that LeBron approached him. Now, it might have been weak that LeBron approached him during a game while he's sitting courtside. But what wasn't weak is that he actually went face-to-face with you and didn't talk shit behind your back. He just came to you, came to the source, which we don't have enough of. There's way too many soft chicken shit pussies out there that can't do it. Now, with this case, and listen, I've known Stephen A. Smith a long time. While I may not like all his takes, I respect his grind. That guy will crawl 10 miles over broken glass to go talk politics, he works. Now, you may not agree with all the shit he says, but he works. So with this, when's a kid off limits? I don't think Bronny James is off limits. Now, LeBron's another guy, a beast, maybe the biggest beast we've had as a specimen in this league ever, and still playing at an MVP type level when he's healthy. And I know he's been hurt, but listen, much respect. And he also says stuff with the biggest rabbit ears of any player in the league. He says stuff all the time. You say, what the hell did he just say? But in his sport, and Stephen A. Smith in his craft, and he's making $20 million for it, much respect. I don't ever get anybody for their grind. Good on them. But this reeks of not protection, but overboard for LeBron. And I think you're allowed to criticize a kid as long as it's not personal. I don't need to hear who he's sleeping with or, that they had a fight at home. This comes down to, is Bronny James a good basketball player? He's a talented guy. Bronny James wouldn't have been a second-round pick. LeBron told us he was better than a lot of guys in the NBA. He created the narrative, and he threw it out there. This is a self-inflicted problem. And Stephen A. shouldn't worry if some of these other NBA players aren't talking to me. Fuck them if they're not talking to you. You got a job to do. You don't need them to do your job. They're going to leave and go to a league, and every last damn one of these guys we're talking about is going to want to go on TV and have a show on TV and on radio when their career's over. They're going to be begging for those jobs. And they're going to have to be criticizing players. If it's not personal, you're fair game on compliments and on, getting criticized. I have no problem when people say, I'll say it right now. Hell, Bronny James isn't a top 20 player in college basketball. He ain't the best high school player in the country right now if he was playing high school. Take that to the bank and cash it. That's a fact. I'm sure he's a good kid. Seems like a good kid, raised by a good man who's done a lot. But when it comes to basketball, Bronny James, that ain't it right now. And I don't have a problem with the criticism. And I don't have a problem with LeBron calling him out. I think it's overprotection and bullshit. But I don't think it's bullshit that he went face-to-face with Stephen A. Both have a point. But to me, your son ain't off limits unless they start making it personal. Telling him he's a bad basketball player, an average basketball player, and he may be good in 5 years. Right now, Bronny James isn't an NBA player, period.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not in my nowhere near GOAT conversation. He's even deteriorating in front of my very eyes. I get that he's the longevity champion, but that doesn't make you the GOAT. Just because you keep statting up and dapping up and continuing to pat your stats because of longevity does not give you the GOAT belt, in my opinion.
Good, he ain't Michael Jordan in my mind.
Yeah,
I got LeBron closer to Kobe than I do Jordan. I think that's the conversation in my mind.
Yeah, I don't even think I think Kobe and Jordan should be in their own realm, and everybody else is after that. And I listen, I got Kareem well above LeBron. That's just me.
Look at the numbers. The best combination college and NBA player of all time.
Yeah, there's no question. And here's the thing, Sean, is my issue. These kids are getting paid now in high school and college. At what point do you say you want to be called grown, Sean? You're getting paid, Sean. You're grown now. You have a job to do now. And when we get to the NBA, Sean, and I get a deal done for my son that pays him more than any other draftable first-round kid or second round kid or whatever in the draft, and I get him $8 million as a rookie, and these other rookie guys are getting $900K, you're telling me you're above criticism? Correction is not criticism, Sean. And I'm so tired of seeing it. And the hypocrisy from LeBron James is at an all-time high. But here's where I want to full circle this thing. It was a no-win situation. I revert back to coaching. If I were to hit a kid, I'm fired. If the kid hits me and I fight the kid and I get beat up, I'm fired. You know why? It's a no-win. I'll never be able to coach again if a 17, 21-year-old kid beats my ass. And if I beat his ass, it's expected, and I'm still fired. Point is, it's a no-win, Sean. Is Stephen A. and LeBron James supposed to fight on the fucking basketball court at a Laker game on national television? And being two brothers of high regard are going to sit out there and fight? So shame on both of them for putting themselves in that situation, A. And B, hey, LeBron, Maverick Carter or Clutch Sports should have called Stephen A. and said, hey, we would like to have a sit-down, man, or a conversation about what's going on here. And nobody needed to know shit, Sean. It was like a dick measuring contest, and I thought it was a shameful mess.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of ruler they use, but, man, who's going to – JB, why don't you break the tail of the tape down? You got an advantage? Not
mine.
I thought you said you went out with this one girl one time who told you to come back when you had a foot, and you told her you wouldn't cut off an inch for anybody. Anyway, so you're right. Here's what I think that would have been a good thing to do. I got a problem with you. Well, why you got a problem with me? Either come on and do an interview. I'll pick up the phone, or I'll see you in person after. Let's go sit down in quiet. It's like a coach and a player. People fight, but some people don't understand. Those fights go on all the time. Arguments, motherfucking each other on the sidelines. And then you take them back in the back room, and you go at it. You talk, you cuss each other out, you yell and scream, and then you walk out. And if you're grown-ass men, you deal with it. You may not like it. You don't have to be liked as a coach or a broadcaster. Respect is more important. And I'll say this to any broadcaster that's on their way up or that is doing this job, veteran, I don't care if you've been in it 20 years, you've been in it 2. If you are afraid to criticize a player because he doesn't like you or not going to talk to you or come on your interview, then you're relying on guests to carry your show. Then you ain't very good at your shit anyway. Stephen A. Smith's good. He's passionate. He loves his job. You don't have to agree with what he says. That's why I love his grind. He and Shannon together do phenomenal stuff. My whole thing is the player doesn't get to dictate what I say. I'll be more than happy. Listen, I've said some stuff, and the players come talk to me about it, and we've had conversations after the fact, and I say, yeah, you know what, I might have been a little harsh. Let's go. And it ended. I didn't apologize or have to run scared because it wasn't about like. It was like, you know what, maybe you got too emotional when I was on the set doing the NFL Live. And now to this day, they may not like what I said. The respect factor that I have for them, I'd like to think they have for me. It's the same thing. Why would you be afraid or care? I don't think he's afraid, but why would any broadcaster be afraid? Well, I got to go back in the clubhouse. Here's what I always say. If you criticize, be willing to go do a feature on him. Don't sit behind the desk. Stephen A. was that. Go interview him out there. Go to the facility and interview him. Tell your network that you want to go do a feature on him. And if they don't do it, talk to somebody else. They won't let you in the building, maybe another time. But you can't be afraid to criticize, and you can't be afraid to compliment. You're not ball washing when you compliment somebody for being good. This whole LeBron thing, it goes back to, and Stephen A., you are not off limits as a kid if you're playing professional. Now, college sports. I remember when I was doing college games, my guy Mark Malone and I worked with Charlie Steiner. I worked with a lot of people far better than me in this job. But as an analyst doing college football, I can remember I really paid close attention, JB, criticized, but not to be overly harsh on a college kid who's a freshman playing major college football on a Saturday night broadcast. Why? I took into heart his brother, his mom and dad are sitting there. Okay, he dropped the ball. Who doesn't? Hell, I threw enough picks that you can't. I mean, good gracious. There was times I wanted you to say, is that fool colorblind? No, I wasn't. You just made the wrong decision. Now, I can handle it. My pops screwed me. I mean, criticism happens. But I was very cognizant of criticizing without demoralizing the guy's self-worth. Not that my comments meant that much to him, but I really was, because you thought, yeah. But now if I was doing college football, well, you're not going to make it personal, but if you throw 4 picks in a game, I can't tell you you're a great player on that Saturday night. I just can't. And if the parents are offended, I'm sorry, or if the player, because now you're a pro basically. You're on scholarship, you're getting paid, you're able to go get NIL money, so you can treat them more like a professional. But I don't think criticism just to criticize to get clicks is worth it, and I don't think compliments just to get the player to love you is worth it either. I think integrity falls by the wayside when you're baiting people like that. I don't like it. So that's my message to it. Kids, if you have a son, he's fair game. He's fair game on the field without being personal. Off the field and all that stuff, if he's not breaking a law, I think you probably should leave their personal lives alone unless there's a reason. Like I said, somebody broke law. Other than that, you can criticize them and tell them they're not very good. And Stephen A. did. LeBron didn't like it. Probably confronted him at the wrong place during a game. You wouldn't expect a rookie to go do that because if you're a veteran like LeBron, you grab him by the jersey and say, get your ass over here. I know his career has bought him some leeway, but I just think that grown-ass men and women can go fight it out in private and hash it out, and you don't have to like them. That's just my opinion on it. And if you're fair and don't make it personal, you'll always have the athlete's respect, and the athlete will always respect the broadcast. You may not like it. He may want to fight with you and be pissed, but you get paid enough. Criticism is alive and well. And I've been criticized enough, and rightfully so, on the air, and I've been rightfully criticized as the player because I friggin' earned it, okay? And that's just what earned the criticism, probably more than any compliment as well. So that's where we are with this whole situation, Jamie. Let me get to a couple of these. Flash funding. First off, I'm so grateful for the sponsors and the advertisers that are spending money, but part of the family here. I always call it part of the family. Advertiser seems like it's so distant, but a sponsor feels like they're there. They're sitting next to me and they're part of my family. And for them to jump on this show, coming out of the chute and being with us and their long-term commitment matters to me. Flash Funding is one of them, and they're dedicated to helping businesses grow and expand by providing cash flow that they need exactly when they need it. Instead of waiting on receivables, guys, businesses can access immediate funding to seize growth opportunities, cover operational costs, and maintain profitability. We partner with a diverse range of businesses, not just to support their success, but to offer financing solutions beyond what traditional banks can provide. 14 years of industry experience, our team is committed to delivering exceptional service. Understanding cash flow is the key to business growth, and we're here to help you unlock it. Flash Funding offers factoring services across the continental USA, providing same-day funding with no monthly premiums or application fees. When it comes to financial flexibility, we're the ideal solution for your business needs. And we are here at the Premier Gold Studios, and thank you to Flash Funding for their constant commitment to this show. Appreciate them. JB, yeah, so the football thing's rolling. Do you have anybody in mind that comes across as your biggest winner so far?
Team-wise?
Yeah, the team. Oh, the biggest winner so far is Josh Allen, just because the pay's so damn big. But the team.
Yeah, Washington Commanders have done a great job. Minnesota Vikings have done a great job getting Jonathan Allen D-tackle, and then they just signed another offensive lineman.
And keeping Aaron Jones. Keeping Aaron Jones was good for them too.
Yeah, keeping Aaron Jones. We'll see what they do at Q now, though. Is JJ the guy? We know he's a multi-talented guy, but is he the guy experience-wise? That's to be seen. I like what the Rams have done. Devontae Adams, we can say they've done one thing, but they've done some other small things as well. But that's a huge thing when you have Matthew Stafford and Nacua, arguably the best 1-2 punch in football, Stafford and Nacua. So we can go down the line. They got Kyron Williams. O-line's getting replenished. Their D-line's unbelievable. The Rams are on their way to competing versus the Eagles. And to be honest, Sean, I gotta say, I think I like the Houston Texans. I think addition by subtraction is a real thing.
They got to replace from Tunsil. Get rid of that offensive line. They played the ball was snap. They were below average. They're not that good. And Tunsil's a pre-snap turd. He's a hell of a player.
Christian Kirk. You added Christian Kirk. Yep, you added Christian Kirk to help out for the year while Tank Dell's recovering, and then see what happens with Diggs. He was a one-year buy anyway, so we'll see what they do with him on his injury deal.
They're not going to bring him back locally. It's been talked about. They're not going to bring him back. They're going to move on from him. I don't think they're done at the wide receiver position, though. I really don't.
Nah, I don't either. Yeah. I wouldn't mind Cooper Kupp because the offensive coordinator for the Rams, or the quarterback coach, is now the offensive coordinator for the Texans. Familiarity has got to be huge and key there. And if I'm C.J. Stroud, I'm vouching and trying to get I'm trying to get C.J. on my show here next week. I'm trying to get Cooper there because he knows his system, knows my new offensive coordinator, and he can come in and help me out on the field.
Small learning curve, JB. Very small.
Yeah.
Herbig is the same.
So I like what they've done, Sean. The Colts have gotten better, regardless of what we think at quarterback. They have made some key acquisitions, getting Travarius Ward from the Niners. They made some key acquisitions elsewhere as well. So they have made some key moves. And I like what Pete Carroll's doing in Vegas already. Got one of my former players, Lonnie Johnson, a long 6'4" corner. You know, Pete Carroll loves long corners. Richard Sherman, all the guys he's had at USC. So, listen, I think there's some guys making moves. The Chargers brought back Mike Williams. I think he's over the top as far as his greatness. I think he's at the end of his career. But
got Najee Harris, which is a perfect back for Harbaugh, no doubt.
Najee Harris. Pittsburgh is trying to do some things. I hear they got Usyk in the building today. The Niners cut loose, so they may be trying to add some physicality in the run game, bringing him over, a multifaceted fullback, H-back type of guy. See what they do at quarterback. I guess it all stems back to quarterback. And then, obviously Cleveland did what they had to do in keeping Myles Garrett. What do they do at the number 2 pick is going to be critical to this offseason. And then, do they take Cam Ward? Do they take Russell Wilson and use that pick for an Abdul Carter to go along the side of Myles Garrett and have an unbelievable 1-2 punch on the D-line? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, but there's some teams that are still doing some things. And then what do we do in New York in both New York spots, meaning the Jets and the Giants?
I'm anxious to see our guy Aaron Glenn coach that.
Yeah.
I really am.
And Brian Daboll. Because I got to be honest, Sean, if I'm dependent on the draft to save my job, Brian Daboll's fired. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. Unless Jaden Daniels happens to be your guy. The way he –
So what are they doing at 3? What are they doing at 3? That's what I'm at. There's not a guy available anymore unless you get Russell Wilson, who's, in my opinion, at the end as well. Aaron Rodgers, I don't believe you and I, he has to be on a loaded roster to have a shot. He can't go on to a rebuild. He's 41.
I'm a great football player at 3. To me, if you're saving that's what people aren't talking about. Brian Daboll's in a very curious situation, a slippery slope. You win 4 games this year. Now, maybe they haul past you because you say, well, it's a rookie quarterback. We believed in him. But I think owners are to the point that we're changing.
The GM, too. GM's gone, too.
Right. So if that happens, what it tells me is that if you're relying on a rookie quarterback to save you, you're probably in this draft. I'm talking about in this draft. Stroud 2 years ago was awesome here as a rookie. Jaden Daniels is special as well. But I'm not sure you can. It's a tough media town when you're not. I mean, they watch their sports and they know. If you're relying on that, put it this way: the draft ain't saving your team, as you said this year. It may 2 years from now. It may 3 years from now. But at that time, somebody else will have a new contract in New York. And Aaron Glenn, though, I'm anxious to see what he does. And we haven't talked much about Chicago. I'd like to mix them in next. Tomorrow, JB. When we do
They've
that,
added a lot up front. Yeah.
Discuss before we talk about it. Hey, the golden age of America is here. The power of
Ben Johnson. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, Sean. Ben Johnson seems like he is aged like a president.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. Let me talk about AI funding real quick, and then we'll get back and discuss that. Don't buy into the picture because he's tired. Shit, are we already telling me he's worn out? He may be tired, but because a picture has him in a coat and tie and another one in his golf wear or equipment, or his T-shirt or sweatshirt. I mean, to me, and I'm not dogging you, JB, I saw that too. I said, oh, so he's already worn out? Yeah, shit, he's getting ready for the draft. He ain't sleeping. Maybe he's hell, I'd be drinking some bourbon if I was him too. He ain't stupid. You got to get those meetings. He's in the office all night. Anybody that says he's already worn out, he should be tired.
Your boy's wearing him out. His fucking nail polish is wearing his ass out.
To go buy Caleb's nail polish and join in the fun. The power of AI funding, no limits to the golden age. It's here. Golden age of America is here as well, and that means unlimited opportunity for business owners. But without funding, opportunity means zero, nothing. At ai.tricera.com, our AI-driven platform connects you with the best funding sources instantly. Who doesn't want quick cash right now for the right reasons? $250,000 to launch, $5 million to seal or scale. How about even $100 million to dominate? Who doesn't want to dominate, right? We're talking about that all day, about domination. You've got to be covered, and we've got you covered at Tricera, right? Ray Smith, the CEO of Tricera. Ray's a buddy of mine and really, really good at what he's doing. He's got this Fortune 100 company, Fortune 100 funding solution, a Fortune 100 system is how I'd phrase it. So business owners like you can access the good stuff, the AI match funding solutions without risking personal credit. And that's huge. Business and credit, let's keep them separated. Business credit and personal credit. The golden age is here. Don't get left behind. Visit ai.tricera.com. Do it today at ai.tricera.com, where business funding meets intelligence. JV, let's get back to this. We got about 5 or so minutes. Tomorrow, I do want to discuss also, if you got to win this NCAA 2A tournament and every coach has the same talent in March Madness, who's the guy? Every single coach in college basketball, something for you to think about, a little homework assignment overnight. And this is, like I said, when it comes to March Madness and college basketball, I want to be sitting on the set on the CBS show. And I want to sit up there because I friggin' love this and my deep dive into the betting side, but also just studying. I want to know if every talent's the same with the current coach, not John Wooden. We know what that answer would be. I want to know who you'd take. That you're in the national championship Final Four. I got to win 2 games to get to the final, 1 to get to the finals and 1 to win it. Who's your coach? Everybody's got the same talent. I can't wait to hear your answer tomorrow. All right, back to this Ben Johnson. Are we really? You got to be bullshitting. I saw it and I saw, oh man, they're wearing him out. Chicago's already got him. He's getting worn out. Now you tell me a guy who just gets a job, because you know these guys, even if it's for optics. Oh, I sleep in my office 3 days a week. Well, then you're stupid. If you're sleeping in your office 3 days a week, you ain't working efficiently. You're just liking people to know that you don't leave. Get your ass home, get a meal, get to bed, make love to your wife, and get back to work. Okay, do those things. Eat a good breakfast. We're not putting game plans in March. So with that, okay, you go out on your boat. You know, you're checking out some Zoids, dude, on the yacht you got, right?
Yeah.
You drink a little bit. You come back to the crib. And you smoke a cigar, maybe stay up till midnight watching hoops, and next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. It's 2 a.m, 2:30 a.m. You do it 3 nights in a row, and you wake up the next day, and somebody catches a picture of you, and your eyelids are hanging down to your pecker. Okay, all right. So you look tired. They got you at the wrong time. He's up at night studying tape, putting game plan in. I mean, the whole playbook in, so the players have it. Getting himself ready for rookie camp when it comes, preparing for all the stuff, free agency, who we're drafting, who we're cutting, salary cap, who's my capologist. And we're really saying, man, he looks more tired than the day they handed him $10, $12 million a year, and he looks more tired. Well, no shit. See the narrative that's created? Yeah, no kidding. Of course he's tired. If he wasn't tired, I'd say he wasn't working. It tells me he's putting his time in. Now, what does that mean in September? We'll see. But of course he's tired. You're not really saying that he's so tired they're aging. Of course he's going to age. If he came in without gray hair, his ass is going to have it. And trust me, if quarterback throws it to the wrong guy, he'll gray up quicker. This is simply putting a lot of time in. I'm not buying into the narrative that Chicago's already wore him out. Not yet. Give it time.
Yeah, no, it's a head coaching position. Going from a coordinator to a head coach is what's wearing him out. And I'm not saying he's getting worn out, but I'm just telling you, it'll age you now because I've done it. I've seen it. It'll change you from a coordinator to a head coach overnight.
And it's a harder job because you got to be the CEO and you got to manage.
And you're accountable now. You were responsible before. You were responsible to do one thing, score fucking points as a play caller. Now you're accountable for everything. So that's the difference in him aging versus what he was with the head guy being MCDC in Detroit, and he took on that burden. So look, it is what it is. He'll I don't expect much year one. I think that they're making some great moves though in the offseason.
I'm going to tell you what, that is going to be as competitive a division as there is for that in the AFC North.
It was last year with Chicago being bad.
Right, it was, and it's okay. I don't just judge top-heavy divisions. I want to judge 1 through 4. And I'm going to tell you what, Chicago gave you some game. Matter of fact, earlier they had some chances to win some games.
Yeah, Washington, Hail Mary,
Damn right. So you start to move that. I think they had a chance. Was it Houston? Didn't they take Houston to the brink as well, right?
I think so, yeah. So
I think the Bears – now, I don't know where else you can go. I'm talking about with record. Detroit ain't winning 16 games this year. So that division's going to – and I guarantee you Minnesota, even if they have a great year, it's tough to win 13, 12 games. You ain't winning 15 games. What did Detroit go, 15-2? Is that what it was last year? 15-2.
Yeah.
Minnesota 14-3 or whatever. That's hard to do. I'll promise you, Chicago's going to get better, and if Pittsburgh has the right quarterback, they'll get better. The problem with the AFC North is Myles Garrett can't throw it, catch it, run it, block it, tackle it. He can't do all that. So I'm going to tell you right now, those two divisions in the North in both conferences are friggin'
And AFC West, Sean, got to watch it.
There ain't no doubt. Chargers are real. Chiefs aren't going anywhere. The Raiders will
Denver
be better.
Three teams made the playoffs. Three teams made the playoffs last year.
Scoot up. I can't hear you. What did you say?
3 teams made the playoffs last year in that division.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And it's going to be
now you had Pete Carroll. The
last place team in that division will be competitive. I assure you they will. JB, let me get this and we'll wrap this up here real quick. Hey, listen, man. There's pressure on quarterbacks when they're playing to deal with pressure. Getting hit in the mouth by DBs and on blitzes and linebackers, and the pressure of getting in the end zone, red zone, the pressure goes up. That's pressure. And when you're playing, you think it's the most important thing in the world. But what happens? You throw that pick, you get another series. You hope, unless it's the last series of the game. Trust me, I've been there too, and it sucks. But I can recover from that. In your 30s, you're playing football. I threw a pick. Bam, get your years in, want to win a championship. It sticks with you. The real life is, can you recover from that in real life? That the stock market goes down, that you start to see, oh man, I invest in 401ks and IRAs, and I expected it to, when I get to retirement, man, it's going to be easy for me. I built this, right? So your biggest concern being a linebacker or a defensive or an edge rusher while you're playing, the pressure gets more harsh when it's real world. And now you're out there. And now as you get a little older, boom. Oh, why has this changed? Oh, man, this went down. Oh, national debt. And oh, man, the stock market drops again. Oh, that investment was soured. I got to stay in it longer. And now you're retired. And now you're 65 and nobody's hiring you. Or you got to go back to work and you don't want to. You want to be with your grandkids and your children. And then your bank account's going this way. And those vacations and that RV you're taking and that jet you're getting on, you're like, I can't do that. So everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. Well, how do you fix that? The pressure it mounts and it mounts. So as you watch your retirement take a hit after hit after hit, who hadn't been there? Every single one of us. How are you going to recover? Well, I've teamed up with Premier Gold, and Premier Gold Co. is off the charts. Premier Gold Co., they have worked countless hours to get folks like you and me to protect what they've worked hard for their whole life, and to protect it and to keep it. Who doesn't want to do that? Physical gold. Physical gold, real tangible assets that stand the test of time. Inflation, market swings, national debt eats away at your retirement, not precious metals. Physical gold and silver can provide security and freedom. And aren't they the two things we want as we go on in life, whether you're 30 or whether you're 90? Security, freedom, and health, right? And I got news for you. When you have security and freedom, your mind's a little healthier. Premier Gold makes it easy for retirees to own gold, offering expert guidance and simple rollover process and no hidden fees. If you're close to retirement or already there, you need a plan to protect what's yours. Just like in the game you're playing on Sundays or Saturdays or whenever you're playing them, timing is everything. It's not a game anymore. It's life. It's your future, your legacy. It affects everything, and the collateral damage to your family, not good. So don't wait till it's too late. Give them a call today. That's Premier Gold Co., 949-566-8666 to see how precious metals can help protect your retirement. 949-566-8666, right there in the beautiful Orange County, California, Newport Beach area. Premier Gold's team is standing by with a free one-on-one consultation to walk you through rolling over your 401k or your IRA into physical precious metals. Premier Gold is the only team I trust, and they're the only ones I'm sticking with. I'm in it for the long haul. I trust and recommend it to my listeners, my friends, and family. Was just talking to a friend yesterday to do the same thing because he's into gold. Call 949-566-8666 or head to that link you see right there. It's secure.premiergoldco.com/Sean, secure.premiergoldco.com/Sean. Precious metals and gold. Protect your future. That is, again, secure.premiergold.com/Sean. We wrap this up, JB. I really don't. I know you like hoops. We've talked about this. I know you didn't have any game when you were – what high school did you go to again?
Man, the best high school in America, Artesia, with the O'Bannon brothers. Yeah, we were. We didn't lose it.
You went to Wood. Did you guys ever play the Wood? Inglewood?
We're better than everybody. We never lost.
Well, okay, what were you? Were you the guy sent in to go foul somebody?
I was.
JB.
By the way, we had to play fucking
physical. You were the like you remind me of Billy the Whopper Pulse when he was in San Antonio. The Whopper. God R.I.P. to the Whopper recently, but so you played at Artesia. Did you ever get dunked on by one of the O'Bannon brothers in practice?
No. Here's the thing, Sean. I wasn't getting dunked on. They like these soft pussies nowadays. No, I'm fucking taking you down with me. But you remind me of Will Ferrell in that basketball movie, Will Ferrell, when they were the old school.
With the nut hugging shorts on, looked like John Stockton knows. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But here's the difference. It was like, Stockton, Bird, Ferrell. I was filling it. I don't know. You can go ahead and Wikipedia it if you want to know who had game. All those guys from Inglewood and Verbum Day, Gar High School, Artesia, Long Beach Poly, where I'm from, Main Streets at ESCO and Long Beach. I'm from the LBC and NSC. Dude, are you kidding me? We can roll down the list of them, and we can go to Street and Smith's and talk about it, or camps and the rest of it, when I take them to the low block and cup dunk on their ass. So you want to go back? Football was a hobby. I was a basketball and baseball guy.
I miss Street Smith,
this
man.
Street
Smith magazine.
Chambers in him, okay?
Yeah, hey. I was I played, my brother and Tom Tolbert was on the runs. Yeah, Tommy was big time, played on that great Golden State team. Hey, Sean, you got a couple breaking news things before we get out of here. Russell Wilson has came and gone out of Cleveland without a deal, and Small Hands Pickett was told he will compete for the starting spot regardless of who they bring in. So that doesn't know if that's. I don't know. You can take it how you want it. They can. I mean, does that mean they're drafting somebody or still trying to get somebody? And then you got the Texans right there in your backyard. They required the guard Ed Ingram from the Vikings for a 2026 sixth-round pick.
How many times they have, when it comes to Daniil Hunter, they've sent. Bernard went there. The Vikings, that Kevin O'Connell, that Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. They've had like 3 or 4 trades over the last year and a half with the Minnesota Vikings. Here's what we'll discuss this tomorrow. While you're clearing the house on the offensive line because they were not good here in Houston, and that includes Tunsil when you have 17 penalties. Hell, I don't care who they put there. If they put you at left tackle, you're not getting penalized 17 times. Now, you may get your ass handed to you, or I might as well, but you ain't getting penalized 17 times. He'll help Washington. He needs a change, but he had to get. They had to move him out. They weren't going to pay him Trent Williams money when he wants another contract. 17 penalties puts your team in a damn bind. They need interior protection. They got better today by getting him interior. Titus Howard's going to move to left tackle more than likely, Fisher to right, but they're not done. They're going to use a lot of these assets they got from the Tunsil trade to shore up, because if there's a weakness on the team, and it was a detriment to the Texans last year, it's the offensive line. We'll discuss more of that great stuff today, JB. We'll get more into our hoops games tomorrow, maybe the next day. And we don't want to brag, but we will just because we don't have much game. But, hey, the story, listen, it went from a guppy to a marlin, man. That's how big the stories get when you go on in life, right? And by the way,
this story. Got away.
Artesia wasn't in the best high school in the country. You guys want no part. You guys wanted no part of you didn't want any part of the Verb. You didn't want part of Inglewood High School.
Crazy. We ran through them.
Day. You want some of them?
We beat all their asses. That we were the go through. You had to go through us, just like Long Beach. You got to go through Compton to get to the LB.
Right. You ain't coming over to my part of town, and then you're afraid of the mean streets of ESCO, but we'll get into that later. My peeps there. Anyway, love you, brother. Great stuff. Triple E, thank you. Our producer, Laura Palmisano behind the scenes, longtime friend and kicking ass for us. And my guy, Craig Larson. Awesome. We got a great team here. JB will be back at it as free agency continues. Russ Wilson, no contract in Cleveland. He's now out of the building. We'll see what happens there. And Aaron Rodgers, hopefully he's still on the beach. If you're going to do something, do it on the beach. Like I said, it's a country song, right? He was going to drive by it, then all of a sudden, then a country song came on, all right? It's the Calm app. I'm going to turn my lights off and start to do some Zen after being another hour with you. Hey, share your friends. Tell them to get on Unpaved and come on here and check us out on Rumble and all the other platforms that we're on. We appreciate you. We're having a blast doing it raw, and it will be obviously unfiltered and always, always transparent. And I promise you, authentic. You may not like what we had to say, but I think you want to be here to hear it. If you don't, come on in and let's have some fun and Love having you guys around. Humbled that we get a chance to do this, and I get a chance to be with you, JB. Love you guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow right here again at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, and that would be what? Noon Pacific. It's Unpaved. I'm Sean Salisbury, JB, and Triple E. We'll see you guys tomorrow.